Guys, what's up? What's going on out there today? It is Brent Abel here, webtennis.com, with another episode of How to Speak Clearly. We shall see. Anyway, guys, January 4th, 2025, another daily Fundy, as in fundamental. And look, all month, this month, January of 2025, that's what we're working on. We're working on the message. I think the best golden nugget of all time that I can give you that I got from Tom Stowe way back in the day is that Mr. Abel, mastering the fundamentals of the game of tennis is the advanced stuff. There's nothing else past it. And once you master the fundamentals, you know what happens is you start to consistently play at the very top of your skill level. And when you do that, you build an extra layer of confidence that you can now take up to that next level, whatever that is for you. And today's episode is titled Spacing Eliminates Swing Tech Improv. Super important in terms of being a high quality, consistent shot maker. We're going to get into that in just a second. But look, if you're playing tight in your matches, even if it's like a serious practice match, we got to make sure that that you're feeling that you got some real clarity, right? You got some real focus during points. And so if you're feeling tight at the end of most players, when tightness shows up, if it does, it's at the end of sets, right? Or it's at the end of matches. And so what I want to convince you of is that mental toughness gets built first off the court, right? Trying to go out there and think, well, if I just start winning a lot, then I'll get confident. That just never worked for me. And so what has worked is I've got a course for you, 5 mini mindset skills that we build off the court. And when you do that, that's when mental toughness is built. That's when that's when confidence is built. Down below, when we're done today, there's a link. I want you to click it and get signed up. I've got the course right now during January at more than a 50% discount. Guys, look, spacing eliminates swing tech improv. Well, look, spacing is number one. What's the what's the spatial distance away from the path of that incoming ball? Whether it's a ground stroke, right? Whether it's a return of serve, whether it's a volley, whether it's an overhead, where do you place your toss on your serve that creates the right spacing so that you get to consistently receive the incoming ball at your ideal perfect point of contact. Again, whether it's ground strokes or whether it's volleys, approach shots, whatever it is, return to serve, right? And if you learn what your perfect spacing is, mine might be slightly different than yours. That's okay. Next guy down the road might be slightly different than ours. That's fine too. Everyone's got a unique spatial distance away from the path of that incoming ball. For example, with a topspin forehand, high quality ground stroke, right? And so when you know what that spacing is, what your reference is, now all that you've got to do is you got to go through a drill and you just got to recreate what that spatial distance is for you away from the path of that incoming ball so that you comfortably get to swing through contact. And if look, the improv part is that lots of times we're just either sloppy with our spacing or we just don't put enough emphasis on it. And too often we actually crowd the ball. We get too close to it, right? A little bit less, the ball's a little bit too far away where we're reaching. But this is the improv part. Now all of a sudden, like say let's say in that topspin forehand, you're too close to the ball. You're crowding it. Now you got an improv swing tech, and that's a great recipe right there for unforced errors. So yeah, how do we create spacing? Obviously, we have to do it with the feet, right? And so you got to get your feet activated and you got to go through a drill I'm going to give you right now, which is look, the first one I do is during the warm up, during the short court warm up, I'm making sure that the most active part of that warm up are my feet, right? And I'm making sure that when the guy taps it over, right, we're both at our service lines, just kind of getting loose and warming up, is we're just tapping the ball back and forth to each other, whether it's a forehand or backhand. too often what I see is players just standing there, not moving their feet at all, reaching out for a forehand, reaching out for a backhand. Ball gets tapped right at them. They don't move, they just kind of bunt it back. And then when you move back to the baseline to keep warming up, your brain's thinking, okay, well, this is what we do on a forehand or a backhand. Or if the ball's right at us, there's not a lot of movement, right? So what I do in the warm up, the short court warm up, I mean, it's like I'm just super active, right? Always making sure the ball is off to my side. Again, whether it's forehand or whether it's backhand, and especially that one that is coming right at you. You got to quickly get out of the way and create the right spatial distance that you want for your ideal point of contact, whether it's a forehand or whether it's a backhand. Once you do that, now you're telling your brain in that short court warm up, this is this is a fundamental. This is super important that we do this, and that when you go back to the baseline and you continue the warm up, that's what you're doing. Look, here's the drill that I like, and I start off with just some focused. I'm just my target's right over the top of the net, right over the top of the center strap, and all that I'm doing, no matter whether it's a forehand or a backhand or the ball's hit right at me with the ground strokes, I'm playing it right back down the middle. Right now, look, if the guy takes me out wide, okay, maybe it's not totally over the center strap, but I'm trying to play it right back down the middle where it ends up in the middle of the baseline, back on my practice partner side or my opponent side, right? And so I start there from the middle of the court, and then we'll work some cross courts, and then we'll work some up the lines, and the whole thing is just initially is going to be is going to be spacing. The focus is on spacing. Look, what have we worked on so far? Well, day one we worked on the soft hands. You got to have the soft hands to be able to get the feet going quickly. If you're too tight in the hands, the body just doesn't move as efficiently. Number two, what did we work on? Right? Well, we worked on that quick shoulder turn, right? And so you got to feel that the part of spacing is getting instantly turned, and now your brain is kind of going, okay, well, we're sideways. What's the right spatial distance we need? What was the third one that we worked on? Well, right through contact, right? We're going to exhale. So and today's one is going to be the spacing. So let's really focus today, right back up the middle, then some cross courts, and then some up the lines. And look, when I say up the line, we got to come up with a better term because when we think, all right, I'm playing this up the line, we're so close to the line, we got to keep it right down the middle of that half of the court, if that makes sense. So if you're a right-handed player and you're going forehand up the line, the target's not the line. The target's not half, a foot inside the line. The target's halfway between the center mark and that single sideline. And I want you to be able to do this fundamental on a daily basis because the last thing we want is swing tech improv because we've got inconsistent good spacing. When you've got really good consistent spacing, man, life just gets so much easier performing swing tech, right? So, guys, there you have it. Hope this has been helpful today. Let me know down below in the comment section what's on your mind. Any comments, any questions, remarks, let me know. I love to read your stuff as always and be able to respond to you. And yeah, as I mentioned in the beginning, look, if you're playing tight, maybe you get nervous, a little anxious, especially at the end of sets or matches, I want you to pick up this course that I've got for you. That during the month of January, it's going to be more than 50% off. It's my 5 mini mindset skills that we got to habituate. And the training happens off the court first. And when you do this, this is when you build confidence for creating that clarity, shot choice confidence, all that stuff that we need during the point. Right down below is a link. I want you to click it and get inside the course and get started right away. All right, guys, that's it for me today. It is time. We got to get out there. We got to help someone else have a spectacular day. Guys, I'll see you again tomorrow.